anything happening? Oh, here we go. It's up here.
Okay.
Refresh
There we
maybe.
are.
Okay.
You just put it onto the Facebook as well. All right. Good.
Is it working?
Yeah. I just like to share it here as well. But
All right. Okay. Now, Wayne, if you could just mute your audio and your video, we'll do the first half and then we'll call you in shortly. All right. Are you ready, Ed?
Yeah, we're recording on the other end as well.
Oh, shoot. I'm supposed to have them up before I record. It'll still work.
Yeah, the audio part will be fine.
Cloud. Oh, yeah. That's all we need it for.
Yeah, true.
Okay, good.
All right.
Are you ready?
Ready.
Welcome to The Funniest Thing.
Yes.
Where each week we share stories about how stepping out boldly always leads to better than expected outcomes.
Yes, it does.
I'm Darrell.
I'm Ed.
And we're broadcasting live from middle school studios in beautiful downtown Culver City, the heart of Screenland.
Oh my goodness, it is great to be here. We have a great guest today, a great show. Today's show is called What a Difference a Thought Makes with Unity Minister Wayne Manning. Reverend Wayne Manning. He's great. He's been on the show before. He's got a deep voice and a deep love for these principles. He lives by this stuff. So our show is called What a Difference a Thought Makes. And greater works than these shall ye do. We need not be held back by doubt, despondency, and fear. A wonderful future lies before any person who depends on God's power, a future of unlimited power to do good works. We have been taught, and we know very well, that thought is creative. Knowing this, how could we at times be so thoughtless as to create a feeling of being powerless by thinking, I can't?
I can't.
Thought is energy. Thought is power. We have the authority in mind to stop this misuse of thought energy and switch the creative energy to thinking, I can. What a difference a thought makes. Now we are thinking in harmony with the forward, creative, constructive thrust of life. God always operates in the affirmative, and on this episode, Darrell and Ed encourage listeners to tune in to God power, the success current. And during the second segment, Unity Minister Wayne Manning gets us dancing the I can with today's reading. I can, praise God, I can.
Well, we're going to kick this off with the reading that inspired this episode. I think I read a little bit of this last week, but it's worth reading again.
Yes.
Kirk Chelson sent us. He's our listener in Germany who sends us many things, and among them are old vintage copies of the Daily Word that seem to just go boom. Because they're unapologetic in standing on these principles.
Yes.
So it really helps get my mind clicked into the success current, the God current, the love current.
Yes.
Instead of doing the I can't can, it kicks me into gear so I can do the I can. And this was from the Daily Word, September 1983. So what is that, 40 years old? Yeah.
Yep.
41 years old. Here we go. What a difference a thought makes. This is by Russell A. Kemp. And it says, suppose that I have been walking moodily along the seashore, thinking that I can't do a certain thing. In sudden reaction, I decide that it is negative to be thinking that I can't do the thing which I desire to do. I have been taught and know very well that thought is creative. Knowing this, How could I have been so thoughtless as to create a feeling of being powerless by thinking I can't? Thought is energy, thought is power. I decide to stop this misuse of thought energy, and so I switch the creative current to thinking I can. What a difference a thought makes. Now I am thinking in harmony with the forward, creative, constructive thrust of life. What a difference a thought makes. I've switched from the failure current, the downdraft, the earth pull expressed by I can't, to the sky lift, the upward thrust, the leap and joy of the energy tides, ever humming through my veins, because now I am thinking I can.
Wow. Well, that goes perfectly into our breaths now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Let's take a deep breath, and this can go for everyone,
Yeah.
anyone. Let's take a breath. What a difference a thought makes. A great day for a thought-making guy.
What a difference a thought makes. A great day for a thought-making guy. What a difference a thought makes. A great day for a thought-making guy. Oh, that is good stuff.
Man, just reminded me, let's give a shout out quick to Jeff Comfort out
Oh,
there.
my goodness.
If you're listening on the podcast app, Jeff's responsible for getting it up there, putting in the sound effects, the theme song, and everything else. And he's been with us since the beginning, because each week
He has taken us
right
into the comfort zone.
Yeah. Hey, while we're at it, let's give a lot of love to these. Let's go through the mail real quick, because
We got a
then we're
lot
gonna
of
go
great-
on. We're gonna be sharing a lot of great stuff. First of all, we got the book
Wayne Bresner.
Wayne Bresner sent us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sending us. Martha Smock is amazing. As soon as I opened it, I read something. Stephen Tom Thorpe is an actor, and it talked about the real meaning of being a star.
I think that's where those things were shoved in.
Oh yeah.
Is that it?
Let's see. Do you have your glasses? Can you read this lowest
In the
common line while I look
meanwhile-
it up?
Well, he's looking that up. We got a fantastic card. Well, it
Letter
was
and
a
two
letter
cards,
and
right?
2 cards. We each got a card for our birthdays, which happened to be 2 days apart, the 10th and the 8th. And we got this great letter from a listener, longtime listener, Lois Conklin, sent from San Andreas, California. Dear Darrell and Ed, happy belated birthday to you both. Wish I had the actual dates, but know you are both in July. I just realized that I've been listening to you two every week for over 2 years. First program I heard was with Jerry Roberts and Roger Leslie on June 18th, 2022. Somehow the info about Funniest Thing came through the internet and I found you all. The connection with your guest is my foster granddaughter and her family. They go to Unity of the Woodlands Church in Spring, Texas. They told me about the Sunday services and I began to listen. I was there every week online, and Jerry became my pastor during COVID when we were home so much. His teaching was amazing, as was the music during each service. Rachel, my family member, was the sound person who recorded the service every Sunday. I connected with Jerry a few times by mail, so guess that was how I found you. I just re-listened to the Jerry and Roger episode this morning. I wonder if you ever visited Roger's special room.
We have not yet visited the room, but I know what you're saying. That's where they were broadcasting from last time, I believe.
From that first program until today, I think I've listened to you every week. I can really relate and learn from your guests and feel like I know them after the hour passes. I often look them up and learn more about their lives. You have some great connections. I am so thankful. Just felt like sharing with you how much you have all meant to me and continue to do so. Love and blessings on you, your faithful listener and fan, Lois Conklin.
I got a zebra birthday card. Darrell got a cheetah?
A baby cheetah.
Yes. It's just great words. So happy to be your fan and friend on YouTube. So amazed that you share your life and inspiration and so many online, and have kept at it for so many years. You help so many of us every week. From a fan and regular listener, Lois Conklin. Thank you, Lois. What does yours say?
Here's a card to help you celebrate your July birthday. Thank you for sharing your life with others as you encourage others through your podcasts, your YouTube program, as well as speaking engagements. Keep up the good work. From a fan and online friend, Lois Conklin.
Well, thank you, Lois. By the way, shout out here to Sue Hodgson, Barbara Weatherman in Canada and Florida, I believe, and everyone else watching on YouTube live. If you haven't checked it out, go to Funniest Thing with Darrell and Ed on YouTube, and every Saturday, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, we broadcast live, but you can watch it there anytime as well. So I found this book. We're going to have to get multiple copies of this book. It's called Fear Not, Messages of Assurance by Martha Smock. And I'll just read the beginning of this chapter. You are a star. And it's Funniest Thing, Wayne out there who gave us this book. Stephen Tom Thorpe happened to be sitting across the table from us, who's an actor. And I just opened to this, and it says, every time a child comes into the world, it is as though he has been waiting in the wings, ready to take his place center stage to play his starring role in the production he will call his life. Have you found your starring role, or do you feel as though you are still waiting in the wings? When Jesus came into the world, a star was born. When you came into the world, a star was born. Jesus knew his role. You may have been searching for your role, searching for your place in life, and searching for purpose and meaning. What is a star? A light giver. To fulfill your role as a star on the stage of life, you must be a life giver. Not everyone can be the star in a theatrical production, but everyone can be a star in his own sphere. Everyone can be a light giver. Man, this book is amazing. What do you think?
There was a part in there where people think they may not know. If you may not know what your starring role is.
Oh, you want me to read this next
No.
part? Oh.
I was just gonna say, she gives that a solution, because I was gonna chime in with Catherine Ponder's advice.
Oh, let's hear it. Let's go right on that.
Catherine Ponder's another author we read from, and not all the time we're clear. What is it I'm supposed to really be doing? Ed was talking about this morning.
Yes.
Because we get a lot of information from well-intentioned people. And if you know what it is you want to do, that's great. But hearing someone say, if you're not clear with what exactly you want to be, you might as well shoot yourself in the head.
Yeah.
Well, that's how we take that sometimes if we're not sure. But we have good news for you. Don't let that start causing an I can't mentality.
Yes.
Just simply use this technique that Catherine Ponder recommends, and also Florence Scovel-Shinn. If you don't know or you're not clear, just keep affirming every time that little thing pops up. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And instead of using it as a cliff to jump off of, just buoy yourself with this truth that I am ready for the divine design of my life.
Yes.
I am so excited about the divine design of my life.
Yes.
And you do that, and I guarantee, because it works, an opportunity or an inspired thought that fires you up, or something that you've already known about yourself, but you kind of been going, I don't know about that. Like somehow you've been dismissing it, whether you got that from your parents or just you thought it wasn't as glitzy enough with our silly thinking. But whatever it is that pops in and gives you that jolt, it will come. And that's the thing that if we allow it to, instead of shooing it away, to like a seed, to just take root with like, That's true. I did really enjoy that idea when I was younger. I kind of knew this about me, but I didn't think it was cool enough or glitzy enough. But now I'm willing to let it just germinate. And you might be surprised because that one thing that you dismissed turns out to be your gold mine
Yeah.
of something you really enjoy that's easy for you to do and you become well compensated for. So if any of you out there, no matter what it is, even if it's you're not sure about going to a party or not, just declare, I am open and ready to accept the divine design of my life, and you will get an indication or an opportunity or some sort of sign, or someone will call you. It'll be clear.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. That's great. That goes right along with the title of our show, which is What a Difference a Thought Makes. Because oftentimes the thoughts that we may not even realize that are in our subconscious mind are pushing away the inspiration for whatever we learned a long time ago. Someone told us we couldn't have it, so it was too painful. We just started pushing away our good. So by opening the door, and you can pair it with the denial, which is what I've been learning a lot about from reading Scientific Christian Mental Practices by Emma Curtis Hopkins, which is an amazing book. But she talks about how even Jesus did this. You could start with the denial, which is, so if your mind is, I don't know, which happens to me, has happened to me very frequently in the past, just start saying, I don't need to know anything.
Yes.
I am open to the divine design of my life, showing me the way.
Yes.
So you can start with the denial, it's like you're meeting the part of you that is denying, because you're already saying a denial, which is, I don't know what to do. Right? I'm already saying. So it's almost like I hit that denial with the denial to get rid of it, which is, I don't need to know anything. So then that lets go, and then I am ready and willing and open for the divine plan of my life to take shape. It's easy.
Yes.
All of that stuff. So also we got one more letter from Valerie Brown with a nice contribution. Remember last weekend, right after the show, we found this. It says, belated happy birthday, my friends. Thank you for accompanying and sometimes guiding me on this wonderful journey. This stuff really does work, and it's amazing how smoothly life's difficulties are not so scary. But as you know, it takes a lot of pleasant work.
Yes, I love that. Pleasant, because it is pleasant work.
Yes. Keep up the good work, and please know that you are lifted and loved by so many everyday folks like me. Hugs and kisses from Val.
Here, keep it with this pile, because that's good.
Yeah, we'll keep it with this pile. Let me read the next thing, the Cohen, and then you had a bunch of things to read.
Oh, and we got a few little cliff notes, folks.
So we read pretty much daily. Well, daily we read from A Deep Breath of Life by Alan Cohen. You can see mine's falling apart. But today's reading was called Right in Front of You, which goes along with what we were just talking about. Because the good we seek is always right in front of us, and we're always the last to know. When we finally wake up to our good, the people who know us and love us are like, we've been telling you this the whole time.
Yes.
So he says, life is not a mystery to be solved. It is a game to be played. He actually starts it by saying, while we may search high and low for an answer to our needs, sometimes it is right in front of us. Life is not a mystery to be solved. It is a game to be played. Rather than spending a lot of energy hunting and pecking, we sometimes do better to just take what is before us and use it to our advantage, like Darrell was suggesting. Many of us have been taught that the best solution is the most complicated or difficult one. We believe that we must strive and strain and pay a high cost for what we want. But often the reverse is the case. The simplest answer is the one that will work best. God does not play hide and seek. The truth is simple, it's obvious, and it works. Bless the simple things in your world, like Darrell was saying, those little nudges you have, the little things you love, the little happy experiences you're having, the ways that you think are little that you're helping people every day. Appreciate your friends for the simple gifts they offer you. Rather than seeking to replace what you have, look for ways that you may more fully tap into the gifts that you have been given. You are already rich.
What was the other one you read? Don't.
Oh my gosh, that was the one I meant to read.
Yeah, because this one's great.
Oh yeah, I guess that was a primer for this. Today was the one we intended to read was called Pygmy Thoughts.
Pygmies.
When we believe in lack,
Pygmies.
When we believe in lack and act as if it were so, we manufacture a world smaller than the one we were born into and generate a new wave of little thoughts that leads to even more limitation in our experience. Eventually, we live in a tiny world, and that's painful. I can tell you
That's what
firsthand.
I can't causes.
That's right. Miniature in comparison to the world we're intended to enjoy. Jesus taught, "To him that hath, more shall be given, and to him that hath not, it shall be taken away." When we think magnanimously, we expand our universe, and when we think small, we shrink it. Let us open our minds to the highest possibilities that we may enjoy all that is available.
Wow. I got a couple of short ones here.
Yeah.
And then
great.
I got a great divine design short story.
Let's hear it.
Okay, first of all, we also recommend you send people postcards. We don't receive postcards. We send them too. Because what they do, I send them in the morning after I do my reading. I'm really writing and sending them to myself because it forces me to think about somebody else, but share the good news that I have just been thinking about or contemplating or reading, and it reinforces it for me.
Right.
So this is for Kirky. You can see that if you're on YouTube, end pre-worry. And it's a guy with an arrow through his head. And then it says, we are where we are because of who we are. And we are who we are because of our habitual thinking. We are where we are because of who we are. And we are who we are because of our habitual thinking.
Yes.
That's an age-old maxim. So learning this stuff is one thing, but I liked what, was it Valerie?
Yes.
Said that it takes pleasant work to keep applying. We got to actually apply this to our thinking. And then how can we receive what the mind refuses to entertain?
Yeah.
That's by Ernest Holmes and Charles Barker. That's a book titled 365 Days of Richer Living. Think about that. When I can't and I'm in a habitual loop, I'm refusing to think. And sometimes when people try to encourage us or when we try to encourage others who want to, it's almost like they get insulted and angry that we're trying to help them think bigger.
Yeah.
And they'll double down on their smallness.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear that. Huh. But how can we receive what the mind refuses to entertain? And to sum it all up nicely, the key to the management of your destiny is to substitute an affirmative thought for a negative thought. And that's by Emmett Fox. So I read the little pamphlet on Tuesday. I actually paraphrased it, or did I read it? I think I read from it when Deborah and Krista were on the call.
Oh, yeah. Let me just tell people thank you to the Patreon people who are contributing.
Yes.
Patreon.com/funniest thing. Darrell's referring to the 4 p.m. Prosperity Zoom we do on Tuesdays, 4 p.m. Pacific. We post it on the Patreon app for those who are contributing as well. If you haven't started contributing, patreon.com/funniest thing. It's a great way to circulate some money for something that blesses you in return, and circulation is key to all of this stuff. So yes.
So, and it was the divine design, just because you think, and even if you think you know what it is, it's good to keep affirming the divine design.
Yeah, we host the show. We still every day.
Yeah, because things different,
Practice.
shape and move, and
Yes.
you're changing, and your world is changing, and you don't have to stay stuck.
No.
You know, you let your mind expand and change. But here's the great thing about that. The very next morning, I went for my hike just because it was finally cooler out here in Los Angeles. So it's not really a hike, a walk up this hill, Baldwin Hills in Culver City. And I look at it as a way to like bless people on the walk, you know, in my mind, blessing people with great joy. And then I'm always looking forward to them like out of nowhere, serendipitously like smiling and waving just from my positive thoughts going forward. And well, because we start radiating at that higher frequency when you're giving off thoughts of love to others.
Yes.
So I was doing the walk, and all of a sudden my calendar blipped on my phone. I'm like, what's this? And a couple of weeks ago, I received an email from the Veterans Administration, one of their just newsletter, a newsletter, nothing scary. And they usually let you know upcoming events. And one of the things that they were sharing in the newsletter was the upcoming Veterans Arts Festival, which is like an art show for veterans who are artists. And it said submission date, like please submit. But the submission date was already passed. Someone who put together this newsletter.
Oh, right.
So it was kind of like, weren't. Because I read it and went, ooh, this might be fun. Then I went, weren't. But for some reason, I put the date of the actual exhibit in the phone. And it turned out to be that Wednesday. And I'm already walking the hill, and the exhibit was a strange, odd window from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And that's it. So it's not like ongoing. It's just one day, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. So I saw it come up and I go, eh. And this is the thing. The tendency to dismiss things, just be aware of that, because it can get in the way to our greater good. So I felt a little, and I could tell I was dismissing it in a way that maybe I should go, because I start piling on the justifications why it's going to be not worth going to. So when you start justifying anything for better or worse, I think that's an indication, at least for me, that the opposite is most likely true. Otherwise, I wouldn't have to justify. So I was telling myself, oh, it's inside the VA main building, which is the hospital. So who's going to be there? Where's it going to be? But it just persisted. And Tom Thorpe called me. So I said, hey, there's the artist exhibit at the VA between 11 and 2. I don't know. Do you want to go? I don't know why I said that. And, Tom Thorpe is always up for anything.
Yeah, and he's well trained in the art of thinking this way.
Yeah, so he goes, yeah, that'd be great. And now it's almost like, darn, can't get out of it. But long story short, we get together, we head up there, and as soon as we pull in, first thing is the guy who comes to valet the car, because I know this sounds like a hard life, folks. There's a valet service at the VA. So the guy who came out, he recognized me. His name's Darrell also, this black guy.
Right.
He's like, oh, man, you're a champion, all this, like laying on the compliments, takes the car, says, don't worry, have a good time. He's telling, introducing himself to Steve and giving Steve a big hug, me. And we're like, holy cow. And Steve goes, man, this place is so positive. And I go, you're right. We go inside, and Steven, because he's not a veteran, has to check in and give his license and put it through the machine.
Right.
And the security guards, this giant guy, looks like Lawrence Taylor from the New York Giants.
Yeah.
Big, giant, black guy, jolly face, too, like Lawrence Taylor would have.
Right.
And he goes to Steve, man, that's a great hat, because Steve had on his cowboy hat.
Yes.
Yeah, a real nice black cowboy hat.
He's got the best hats.
So the guy goes, what size is that hat? And Steven tells him, and that guy takes off his ball cap and goes, let's trade. So they had a good laugh. We had a good laugh with him. And as we're walking away, that guy's telling all his friends, he goes, I know cowboy hats. That's a great hat. That's like a $500 hat. And it was an expensive hat.
Right.
So we're getting all this compliments. We go down the hall, and Steve goes, how are we going to find this? And I go, it's right down this way, because there was a sign right there.
Amazing.
We go down a maze of hallways. There's balloons outside this one room. We walk in, and the first thing is these like smiling people. Everyone's smiling. It's like when you go with this stuff, it's incredible. Immediately, would you guys like a sandwich?
Wow.
And it was these gourmet sandwiches from a restaurant in Brentwood.
Wow.
You know, Brentwood, if you don't know California, Los Angeles, Brentwood is a hoity-toity, high-end town.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
So we're eating these gourmet turkey sandwiches in this giant conference room that's converted into a gallery. Everyone's wonderful. Long story short, I end up talking with some of the people, and Steven's with me, and one of the ladies is explaining about, how it works and what it is. And then Steven, goes, well, he's an artist. And then she, starts aiming all the positive, information about how to get involved next time and all this wonderful stuff.
And you've talked about working with the VA quite a bit in the past.
Well, that's the crazy thing, because she's talking to me as an artist, a veteran artist who would participate in this event,
Yeah.
But in a crazy shift, the whole conversation got turned into where there are, they have contractors that teach art workshops and stuff through this specific department at the VA.
Which you've never really been able to locate in the past.
No, it's, all these things. Ed and I have a saying, and it's true. It really depends what door you walk through.
Yeah.
And we're talking about for opportunities, because had I been trying to pound down and send, what are they called?
Unsolicited emails and such.
It never seems to work that way, and rightly so. And if it does, it usually ends up being something that's really not for us. I mean, I'm not saying that method doesn't work, but 9 times out of 10, because of the pushing and the effort, I'm going against an energy that's really not for me. So we effortlessly, and Steve was with me, start meeting all these people, and various people gave us their cards and were very interested in what I was doing. But here's the craziest part. On the way out, we walked past the exhibit hall again. We're saying our goodbyes. And the nice ladies who handed us the sandwiches had sandwiches left over, because now it's like 2:00. They're wrapping up. Would you like another sandwich? I said, yes. So they wrap them up, and I go, what exactly because they were from the Brentwood School.
Right.
So I'm going, what exactly does the Brentwood School have to do with all of this? So I come to find out that the Brentwood School has like a whole department, and this is like high school, grammar school, and elementary and high school. I don't know if it's private. I think it must be.
Yeah, if it goes all those grades.
So they have a whole branch where they do all this great stuff, and a facility for veterans. Like a full-on gym facility. They have trainers.
Right.
All free for veterans to utilize right in Brentwood, So I'm talking to her about that. And she goes, oh, here, give me your card. And it was the assistant to one of the department heads. And she goes, email me. So I just emailed her about what exactly do you guys provide, because she wanted me to ask her that.
Right.
So I sent that. And the very next day, this is the least person to expect all the thing, because I'm here thinking VA, I'll be able to be a contractor with the VA.
Right.
Maybe that's why this is happening. The next morning, 8 a.m., bleep, email. Oh my God, I love your artwork. So she looked on my website. She asked if I had a print for a piece that's up there called Vitamin C. It's on my illustration page of a coffee maker and coffee. And she shared the links, and she put me in touch with the head of the department of this thing and a link to check it out. So I check it out, the link, and the Brentwood School in this link shares how they do all this fitness training, all this life skills stuff, and art. So I go, well, this is fascinating. So I write her back, and I just, I said, hey, thanks for all the compliments. I'm going to figure out how much a print will be, and I'll get back to you. I wanted to make sure I had the print available in my studio. And then I just asked the other guy who was on there, I said, hey, Dave, I noticed on the link that you do art workshops. I'm just curious, who teaches the workshops? Is it Brentwood School faculty, or do you use outside
Right, like yourself.
facilitators? And I wrote, I'm asking because if that's the case, I'd be interested in learning more.
Right.
Bloop. So this whole thing was started by, I opened my mind, and I know this is true because I was so emphatic about it on Tuesday night's call that it was in my mind, the divine design. Plus I read it again in the morning, that allowed me open to this thing that I would dismissed as, the VA, how good can this be? It's out of my way. And we ended up getting lunch, having great conversations, and then this obscure contact from the person dispensing. This is another thing too. There's no one above or below. When you live this way, when you come from love, everybody's on your team.
Yes.
The old way, and the coaches,
Yes.
all the success coaches mistakenly say, surround yourself with good people. We say, just be about love, and the right players end up coming in your life. And you may, if you're going at it with, I got to find people who I think can give me a leg up, you're probably going to dismiss the person who you're judging as insignificant, who is actually the significant link. So I'm always aware of this when this stuff happens. And here's the best part. If nothing occurs from this, if nothing specific from these channels opens up for me, but it's God saying, hey, we're having fun on the journey to that.
Yes.
And it doesn't mean this, but it means I'm having a good time.
Yes. There's several other doors. You didn't even tell the part you told me yesterday. But we'll save that for another time, because coming up next, Unity Minister Wayne Manning gets us dancing the I can with today's reading. I can praise God. I can. Thank you for listening to Funniest Thing and watching Funniest Thing with Darrell and Ed, live from Culver City, the heart of Screenland Middle School Studios. We'll be right back. All right. Do you have to pee?
Do you have to pee?
I can do a quickie.
Are we supposed, people are watching this live.
I'll go.
All right. Wayne, good to see you.
And good to see you. I'm up. Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
You sound great.
That was a great first half.
I know. Now we're in the second half. Right now, it's just the halftime show.
Yep. So this is at the moment live on YouTube, but it'll also be processed as a podcast keeper, right? And where it goes on the streaming list.
Yeah, it's going to be moving forward. It'll remain as a actual YouTube video. And then also, in addition to that, the audio podcast that airs on all the audio podcast channels.
Okay.
Yeah. We just figured out ourselves how to live stream it simultaneously to Facebook and YouTube.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Jerry is out there as well. Jerry Moyer. Love you, buddy. Did you have to use the restroom, or should we get on with it?
I better. People are watching this live.
I know. Oh, I know. They love it. All right, everybody. We love you out there on YouTube land. This is why we do this, Jerry. Wayne.
Yep.
Now that we can let everyone in a little behind the scenes. Do you see Darrell's beautiful art back here, by the way?
Oh, is that Darrell's?
Yeah. He takes old paintings that he
Love it.
finds, or that someone else. I think my wife found this one, and then he puts his art over and changes the frame and puts his art on top of it. So yeah,
Yeah,
he does these collaborative pieces, but they're awesome.
wonderful.
Yeah. So glad you're here today, sir.
Me too.
Are you having a fine time in the green room, if you will, in the
I
Wayne
am.
room?
I
Okay,
am. I've been
good.
laughing. I've been laughing right along.
Oh, good. That's yes. Whether it's at us or with us, we will take it, man.
Yeah,
As
yeah.
long as we're laughing. As soon as Darrell gets back, we can't wait to hear from you.
When he gets in storytelling mode, he's hard to hold back, man.
Yes, exactly. I was going to say we get on divine time,
Yeah.
and I gave up being the like the guy. Come on, guys! Yeah, I had to give up being that job because there's
Oh, yeah.
I had to once spirit starts flowing, I just let it roll. I let it roll. Oh man, Jerry says, "What a voice!" First half was amazing, and based upon that voice, can't wait for the second half. I guarantee, Jerry, you're gonna love Wayne. So I think you heard us. A guest named Wayne Bresner gave us the. Oh, I'll share that right when we come back because this is cool how all this stuff works. Are you ready, sir?
I'm ready.
All right. Welcome back to What a Difference a Thought Makes with Unity Minister Wayne Manning. How are you doing today, Wayne?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much.
Great Reverend Wayne Manning. I was just going to tell you, Wayne. So last week we got a message that we were getting a book from Wayne Bresner, which we read from, Fear Not by Martha Smock, which is an
Yes.
amazing book. And I thought it was you mistakenly just because of the names, but that's what led me to say, we got to get Wayne Manning back on the show. So I got the nudge from the angels. I reached out to you. You immediately said yes, which is amazing. And here you are.
Well, it's the funniest thing you asked me to come back. I was thinking about you guys last week. And the
Wow.
email.
That's amazing. So
Yeah.
you've been listening to us go on, and what a great story, Darrell. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
We all need to hear how these things really work in real time.
Yeah.
Wayne Manning, what you got for us?
I've got a great reading from Joyce Kramer. Would you like to hear
Oh,
that?
yeah.
Want to kick right off with that?
Yes.
That works?
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
do it.
Here's what Joyce has to say about today's topic. Through God's Spirit within me, I can be what I want to be, do what I want to do, and achieve what I want to achieve. What kind of vision do you have for yourself? Whatever you see yourself doing, you can do. Whatever you see yourself being, you can be. Whatever you can see yourself achieving, you can achieve. You can be strong and well, beautifully healthy, and vitally alive if you are able to picture yourself that way. You can be joyously happy and dynamically effective in your work. Picture yourself doing an exceptional job, doing it with joy and ease and success. You can be successful in your dealings with others. Picture yourself as congenial, friendly, poised, happy, harmonious at all times. You can attain the fulfillment of your highest ideals when you see yourself being, doing, and achieving your best. And she closes with this scripture from Romans 15, verse 13. Now may the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace in believing, that you may abound in hope in the power of the Holy Spirit. Joyce Kramer, a wise woman.
Wow.
Did you know Joyce by any chance?
I did. I came to Unity Village in 1976 to begin my training, and Joyce was still very active in those years. I used to
Wow.
see her at conference every year.
It must have been a magical place to be at that time when you used to come to Unity Village around that time.
Oh,
eh?
it was indeed. And I was fortunate enough to, when I graduated in 78, I stayed for the next 12 years
Oh, wow.
on the faculty of the school, and then later on the board of trustees at Unity School, and was in charge of all the buildings and grounds for the last 5 years or so I was there.
Oh, wow. That's
That
awesome.
was it was quite a time. And of course, knew Martha well. Martha was editor of Daily Word for 33 years.
Oh my God.
And it's 100 years old this year, Daily Word.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes. So, on the topic of what a difference a thought makes, what are your thoughts on this topic?
You know, it occurs to me that whether I think I can or think I can't, I'm right.
Yes.
That's the power of a thought. Thinking I can't just reinforces inactivity or, non-functioning. But thinking I can and affirming I can, it's the little engine who could. That little nursery rhyme has so much truth in it about how we want to be in the face of whatever's going on. Life offers itself in many guises, and it never asks us. Life doesn't ask me, what do you want to experience today? Life says, here I am.
Mm.
Engage me.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, as you guys were talking earlier, I don't know how much time I've spent, how much time I've wasted really in the past, wishing something were different, wishing something were some other way, lamenting, that this is going on and I wish it were different. Well, that's a dead end. That's an I can't position to be in, when really all I really want to do is acknowledge what's going on. It's the best version of it is what it is. That's not a defeatist thing. It is looking at what is so is important, because if I see what is so, I can then do something about it rather than lament. I can take an appropriate action. So again, whether I think I can or I can't, I'm right.
Yes. Yeah. I'm so glad you said that, because right before you were talking, I was reminded that when I woke up, I was telling Darrell about this earlier, when I woke up from this dream, and in the dream, I was with some people that I have been teaching with at the elementary school, and it was actually like there's a lot of fun going on. It was like the end of the school year, but another part of me was going like, how can I can't keep doing this. It was like really fighting it, and then
Yeah.
I was with someone who I went to the spiritual psychology master's program with, and we were at like a nice place eating, and it was like a throwback to when I was back in that time where I was just like, part of my brain was just like, they were like, what's wrong? And all of a sudden I was just like, I went from a very positive meal to like, I can't do this. And it was like that type of thing, lamenting. And I woke up and I felt terrible. And then I realized that what I was doing was what Emmett Fox calls putting my foot on the hose. I was fighting against that part of my mind. While it's a nice place to start, right? It tells me this is something that, whatever. Leaning into that againstness has just been keeping me stuck and cutting me off from the divine inspiration that can get me to something new, should that be what I want to do, And I mentioned earlier, I've been reading Emma Curtis Hopkins, which is talking a lot about denials. And so pairing it with what she says, which is only the good is real. So if we say it is what it is, if it really is what it is, then only the good about it is real. And if that's principle, then I am not a victim. I love what I do. Everything I do is blessed. The divine plan is now unfolding. I am being led to the next enjoyable thing. And even as I was sitting here, I was thinking like how much I sincerely love those amazing people at the school. Like this year I made more friendships and we worked together, and we've done a lot of we walked on water together. We did miracles, and like, rather than this being defeatist, it's actually inspiring me, because it's like whatever I'm going to do next, I don't want to be sitting in a corner. Like if I take that attitude with me, that I'm a victim of my circumstance, I'll take it wherever I go. I'm not a victim. I chose to get involved. I work with amazing people. I do amazing work, and that's what's going to lead me to whatever I choose. Should I choose to take it a total new place, which has kind of been bubbling up, then I'm taking that attitude with me, not this defeatist fighting against attitude, that like lamenting, like you said. It's easy to get stuck in the lamenting part. It really is, which is the absence of divine substance. Which
Yes.
is believing in lack, which by principle is impossible. There is no lack. There is, and denial is really important sometimes. There is no lack. My good is here now, and I'm open to receive it, and I'm celebrating the good that has already come, and it's an evidence that even more is on its way.
Yeah. We all have interesting reactions often to things that happen in our lives. And part of right thinking for me is to recognize and acknowledge that, as Florence Shen would say, the game of life is not a game unless it contains something to play against, which is what obstacles are all about. Things that show up as obstacles in our lives are to hone ourselves on so that we, can have forward momentum. I don't know if you guys are golfers, but if we hit a hole in one every time we went on the tee, we would soon give up the game because there's no juice there after a while, right?
Right.
But it's normal and natural to have obstacles that we build our spiritual muscles against. And so to look at them that way, we can develop, I think, a way of being that says, bring it on.
Yeah.
And when we need support, ask for it, because we all have people in our lives who are simply waiting to be asked to give us whatever support they can, just for the asking. That to me is the game worth playing, and then I want to have goals worth playing for when I get that in my head, and then play for them, play full out.
Yeah.
Knowing that there's going to be trouble at the border here and there, but that's when you stick with it, take small, sweet steps, and keep going.
Yeah.
Kathy Norman, I can't believe you brought up It Is What It Is, because Kathy Norman gave a talk on the 21st at Unity of Santa Barbara, and I just happened to have it here. And she said this, I can't believe you said this, and I'm glad I had this out on the table to give this copy to Ed. I'm just going to read this little bit because it's talking about when this stuff happens, it's to acknowledge it, but then, okay, this is what it is. Now let's move on and know that there's a blessing in this, with that healthier attitude to move forward. No complaining, no ideas of retaliation or fight. Just, okay, and then move on. So she writes this. As I like to say, it is what it is, and what it is just is, and so it is. Praise God. Amen.
That's Kathy.
Now, that does not mean sweeping emotions under the rug and not dealing with them. It means looking at your emotions for what they are and not being the victim of our emotions. And then you shift into the state of being that you prefer. Keep in mind, it is not the circumstance that matters. It is your state of being that matters. It's how you respond that matters. Remember, you are not a physical being in a physical universe. You are a vibrational being in a vibrational universe. You are both a transmitter and a receiver of energy. When you think a thought and feel an emotion, you are transmitting vibrations to your surroundings. And as you know, you are continually sending out signals of energy that inform people, places, and things of who you are. And of course, that will be reflected back to you. She does say this, which I want to read. That is why when we meet certain people that seems like we don't like them, it only means that we do not resonate with them. It's nothing against them. You just don't resonate with them. They have a different frequency that doesn't resonate with yours. And she gives the example of gardeners who know about companion gardening, which means there are certain plants, when planted together,
Yes.
help each other grow as well as protect each other. And there are other plants that if you plant them together, they basically kill each other. So it's saying it's okay to acknowledge this, almost like a little biofeedback system of how to navigate too.
Yeah. Can you read the affirmation part again that she said in the very beginning,
Yeah.
that you started it with? Because Jerry Moyer also is on YouTube wanting to hear that again as well.
Okay.
I'll use that.
She says, I like to say, it is what it is, and what is just is, and so it is. Praise God, amen. And you know what I've been doing, Wayne? This came up lately because of Ed reading the book about the denials. You know, the simplest denial. Nancy Norman, we were at her Infinity Prosperity Workshop, which all our listeners can attend. It's on Thursdays through Unity Joy of Life.org. And she was telling the story about how Jesus just practiced this simply. Whenever a negative thought came up, it was just, get behind thee, Satan. Like that was the denial, you know. And Satan is the wrong idea of God and life. It's like an error. It's thinking in the negative instead of in the affirmative. So I have been consciously doing that for every little thing, because when you start applying this stuff, you know, I've always been on the affirmative, but I haven't, and I've been pretty good at telling myself, no, we're not going to think that. But now, the past week, I've been so conscious of every little twitch that comes off where I feel like it's going to lead me to lamenting. You know, even about a guest, someone new, we said, oh, great, yeah, we'd love to have you guest, listen to our podcast, and if it jives with you and you want to be a guest, let us know. We'll have you on. So for some reason today, setting up the show, I thought, oh, they probably listen to our show and think we're like not righteous Christians or something silly.
Right,
and
sure.
I just went, nope, get behind these. Like, I'm not going to even entertain that. And I could feel the shift go, yeah, Darrell, we're going to stick into the affirmative and not entertain that thought and entertain the healthier version of that thought.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, you're talking about shifting, and I'm so glad that Kathy used that word shift in her comments, because it isn't about changing, which we sometimes think. I want to change my thoughts. That's the most difficult thing in the world to do, is change a thought. But I can't. Change is for tires and babies. Shifting is for thoughts. I can decide I'm not thinking that thought anymore. I'm going to shift to something more useful and interesting and productive, because I can only think one thought at a time. I can't, you know, think two thoughts, opposing thoughts at the same exact moment. So if I can develop the capacity to shift to something more interesting, more useful, the other doesn't need to go away. I just need to not pay attention to it. Get thee behind me. It's still there, but it's not in my path anymore. It's not in my way. I'm shifting to something moving forward. Raise your hand if you've ever got stuck in something in the past that you wish were different, or you could go back and change it.
Oh, of course.
Can I read? Do we have time for me to read my most favorite Martha Smock piece ever?
Oh, yeah. We got time, baby.
It's called No Other Way. Here's what Martha says. Could we but see the pattern of our days, we should discern how devious were the ways by which we came to this, the present time, this place in life, and we should see the climb our soul has made up through the years. We should forget the hurts, the wanderings, the fears, the wastelands of our life, and know that we could come no other way or grow into our good without these steps our feet found hard to take, our faith found hard to meet. The road of life winds on, and we, like travelers, go from turn to turn until we come to know the truth that life is endless and that we forever are inhabitants of all eternity. Martha says, celebrate.
Yes.
Look at your life, your past, and celebrate it because it brought you right here. And I don't know, guys, about you, but right here is pretty good.
Yeah.
Because this is a moment I can take further action to secure what happens as I move forward in my life.
Yes.
And I look back, I've learned as well as I can to look back and praise those tough places because they got me here.
Right.
Yes.
You know?
Totally. It makes me think about like this idea of Satan, and it's often kind of a trickster that can trick us. And I think, and also like kind of test us a bit, you know? So that's one of the things I'm getting again from Emma Curtis Hopkins, which is if we're affirming and trying to affirm on top of a fear without first dismantling or letting go of the fear and shifting, like you're saying, it doesn't work. She said, a strong scientist said he had to meet all his lack of supply by a strong negative statement or form of expression, or his mind would not work it out into view quickly. This is it. If he was requiring money, he never said, I am supplied with all I can use. He said, I don't need money. And thus he made a clear way for his bounty to come to him. So in my case, if I say, I need a job, it's BS. If I say, I have a wonderful job and I've been doing a wonderful job, I wonder what else I can do. I have no needs because God provided me with this one, and there's many people who want this one. I wonder what else I could do. It's sometimes it's like that end around that we don't see because I don't realize how much I am locked in a state of lack. Yeah, and I'm struggling. So the first thing is to stop. This is why like Butterworth and these people say stop. First, treat to concern. I am not concerned with this. Even like just whatever you think it is, whether it's health, and don't tell this to anyone else who's not ready to hear it. Go by yourself and just say, I'm not concerned with health. Health has never been a concern of mine. This doesn't belong to me. I'm releasing this. You can feel it. I guarantee it. I can feel it. These type of steps as like that is my new understanding of what denial is in just simple ways, and I've been using it, and it's just revisiting it in a way that really helps it make sense to me. Sometimes it's better first just deny, because who else when I get stuck sometimes I have to realize no one else is really like, even if I imagine Darrell telling me or my mom telling me, they're not even here. There's no one else but my own mind telling me. So why am I identifying with that? So by using a nice denial, like I have no needs. All my needs are met by the divine plan, and it is unfolding now. Immediately my spirit flows back into my body. I soften up. I remember I could go surfing. I could go get coffee with Darrell. And all of those things are going to be way more effective than sitting around lamenting.
You know what I like? For the one with I don't need money one, I like what Mike Dugan taught me better, because early on, and this one helps me all the time, the way I get that concern over money or lack, or the fear of there not being enough in the future or whatever the insanity is that plagues your mind about money, he would just say, Darrell, money's not your problem. And it just disarmed it. He's right. Money's not my problem. My problem is how I am feeling and thinking about my circumstances, either right now, which it usually isn't what I'm thinking about, but what I'm morbidly expecting the future to be.
Right.
So he's absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Money is not my problem. I'm now moving into fear, which is morbid expectation, instead of faith, which is joyful expectation.
I was thinking, talking about work a minute ago, some of the best advice I've ever gotten was from a department head at the Nashville Banner in Tennessee, a newspaper where I worked for a number of years. And he was talking about the best way to get either a promotion or a better job. Said, if you want a promotion or a better job, fall in love with the job you're doing now and
Yes.
and let that show. That's
Yeah.
the best way, because people who are looking for people to promote or to hire will respond to that. And you will have a much easier time working if you
Yeah.
fall in
Yeah.
love with
Yeah.
what you're doing. Because if we hate what we're doing, guess
Right.
what? That follows us into our next work, whatever that work might be.
Right.
You know, it's like the guy who moved to a new town because he had to get away from the people in the old town, but he found people just like that in the new town. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That happened to me. I moved all the way from New Jersey to Hawaii, and the same people and the same circumstances were waiting for me. They just had different names.
Yeah.
yeah, it's just how we think about it.
It wasn't
Yeah.
until I
This,
started changing from the within that everything changed.
yeah. See
You
that
got there,
letter?
Wayne.
There's a letter on the hat, letter A.
Yeah.
It stands for Asylum, the name of a company of a friend of mine. Asylum is his company. A lot of people think and even say when they hear what he does that it's a good name. Asylum, this guy is a professional base jumper and builds base jumping equipment for
Uh-huh.
the community. And people will say, well, that's a great name for that because you ought to be in an asylum. That's how you're going to be.
Right.
He says, it is a great name for my company because I am in the asylum of peace I feel when I build the best possible gear for my friends that I can to keep
Right.
them safe in this
Yeah.
sport. It's how he thinks about asylum that is key
Yeah.
for him because he's building an aura of peace around what can be interpreted as a pretty dangerous sport.
Yeah.
But he builds great equipment and keeps people safe with that. How we
Right.
think about it, how we think about
Everything.
it is it's key, I think, to an interesting, healthy, effective,
Yeah.
happy life. How I
It's
think
everything.
about my life. Yeah, everything.
Yeah, because when I think of like I have 3 more weeks before the school year starts, and if I think I gotta get a new job before that starts, and then first of all, my subconscious mind is whatever I say is real consciously. It goes, okay, that's what's real. So if I tell it we don't have a job, it's going to be like, what? You know, it's going to. But if I say, well, I already have a great job. It starts in 3 weeks. I could do it in my sleep. I love the people I work with now more than ever. It's easier than ever. And I say, relax. We already have an amazing job that pays amazing money, and it's easy for me to do, and the hours are amazing. Then my subconscious mind opens the door to start using this time to also think about, well, what else I might want to do, or also realizing there is no deadline with God. Even if I start at this, I just know how God works. You just don't know which door it's going to be. And through I interact with people in my job that we all go into this place that's kind of like less than. It's not a very glorious the way we get, the environment, the way we get maybe treated and such. But some of those people are hopping in Porsche SUVs. They're rich outside of both financially and whatever, but they are just. I just saying, you just don't know. You're in that environment. You think, oh, they're just teachers. They're just that, but you just don't know. But what I do know is as I let my subconscious mind, because I think sometimes when we think we want to change, and I like this shift, what you're saying, and so did Jerry Moyer on the YouTube, said he loves that concept. I like the shift because it's so easy to get locked into like lamenting and cursing what I have.
Yeah.
Because I think what it relates to is when I would tantrum when I was a younger kid and then mommy would make it better, or someone else, oh, you don't like that? Well, but that's not how the universe works. Like the universe works and comes over calm seas and appreciation and love and faith, right? Joyous expectancy, as we always say. And that's the key. Whatever it takes, because you got to think about it. Whatever way I'm thinking, I'm still sitting here. So why is it such a risk to change completely the way I'm thinking? and let go and let God. And that's the big deal. Is though in the past, I'm always finding new ways to just, I should say, I'm always learning new ways to recognize how magical life is, and that
Yeah.
I am divinely guided and supported, and that there's no way we can get it wrong. And that's how loved I am. And that every moment, an angel's walking through the door, sitting next to me, sitting across from me in the Zoom. Every moment, because if it's principle that divine intelligence is everywhere, omnipresent, that's principle, then I have to let go. Then it behooves me, it benefits me to let go of any story to the contrary of judgment or anything like that. Because I want to tap into the good, and that's it. I want to tap into the good and see where it leads me.
Well, plus in your present work, you have both the time and the space to hang around with Darrell. That might not be true in
100%.
some
Oh
other
man.
work. So,
It led me to meet Darrell. It led me to this show for sure.
Yeah.
The show wouldn't exist if I hadn't hopped on board Culver City Unified 17 years ago or whatever it was.
Wow.
Before we tell this story about you, I got to share one last quote that Ed reminded me of.
Yes.
It's this. At every moment, the universe is presenting you with an irresistible offer. At every moment, the universe is presenting you with an irresistible offer. And when we're in tune with this pleasant way of feeling and thinking, then we don't miss those irresistible offers.
Yes. That's what in Ernest Holmes, just this morning I read, he says, there's no reason why this awakening should not come now, for we are not really waiting on God. God is waiting on us.
Yeah.
Boom.
All right, Wayne, thank you for joining us today.
We have a story about you.
We sure do.
From your past.
Yeah, when you were just a young man getting started in the world. The new CEO of a big company was a very tough guy who made it his mission to rid the company of slackers. One day, he noticed a young Wayne Manning in the hallway leaning against the wall doing nothing. As there were other employees in the hallway, he decided to make a public firing. He walked up to Wayne and asked,
"How much do you make a week?"
Wayne replied,
$400. Why?
The CEO then went into his office. And a few minutes later, came out with a large stack of bills, handed Wayne $1,600 and said,
"Here's your pay for 4 weeks. You're fired. Now get the heck out of here and never come back."
Wayne couldn't believe it. As he left, he heard the CEO, clearly pleased with what he had just done, turn to the witnessing employees and ask,
"Does anybody know what the hell that slacker was doing?"
One of the employees smiled.
He was a pizza delivery guy waiting for someone to pay for the pizza. That was the best day of Wayne's life when he was working.
That was a great tip.
Yes. Well, on that note, there's a great mystic, a big bopper was his name.
Yeah.
And he said it this way: we got Chantilly lace and a pretty face and a ponytail hanging down. We got a wiggle in our walk and a giggle in our talk. Makes the world go round. There ain't nothing in the world like a big old God that makes us act so funny, makes us spend our money, makes us feel real loose like a long-necked goose. A loving God.
Oh, baby, that's what I like. Thanks for visiting Darrell and Ed.
Thanks everyone in YouTube land.
And you can find us on darrellanded.com. And thanks again for being a part of the show.
There ain't nothing in the world like a big old God to make us act so funny, make us spend our money, make us feel real loose like a long-necked goose. A loving God.
Oh, baby, that's what I like. Well, thank you so much, Wayne. We'll be in touch.
You did it again, buddy. Thank you so much. Everything you shared was incredible. Yeah, that medicine, the shift instead of the change. Fantastic.
Yeah, I look forward to doing it again whenever the time is right.
Oh, you'll be back.
You'll be back, buddy.
Yeah. We love you. Thanks so much.
You're welcome, and look forward to seeing this when it's production stage. So,
You got it. It's already up on YouTube since we've been live streaming it. We'll send you the link.
Yep.
all righty. Thanks, guys.